Now let's explore few more options, okay, that is available with the OpenFOAM about this dynamic mesh motions. Okay, so let's look at here, and first let's check the dynamic mesh files. Okay, so what we're going to use is dynamic motion solver FV mesh. Okay, so dynamic motion solver FV mesh allow you to take into account the data exchange. Okay, when there is a few class of deformation or the mesh motion is happening, and it is the very simplest class of the mesh motion approach. Okay, and it try to take into account the mesh motion with the help of the appropriate solver and some class of diffusivity models. Okay, and what we're going to use do is that we try to solve the equation for cell motion. Okay, and with the help of the proper solver, and try to look at the mesh diffusivity or mesh motion. And when we talk about the mesh motion, we have to set two parameters. One is called the motion solver, and another is the proper diffusivity models. Okay, so either of this or both, sorry, not either, both of these things we have to set appropriately. And if we don't set correctly, then what we're going to do, we try to look at the skewness in the element. Okay, so this diffusivity model allow us to control the non-orthogonality and the skewness with the help of the certain parameters. Okay, so that is the idea. So let's explore all these options with the help of very simple tutorial. So that is the idea behind this very simple test case. But before we go towards that, okay, let's explore where exactly it is coded. Okay, so if you want to explore few things, how it is coded, everything you can come to know. So go to the form 4.0 src folder. Okay, go to the dynamic FV mesh. Okay, inside that we have a dynamic FV options. Let me find out 1 minute. So this is all the our mesh motion solver available. So right now we're going to use this one, dynamic motion solver FV mesh. Okay, so this is what we're going to use at present. So dynamic FV mesh, where the motion solver is used to move the mesh. So ultimately, with the some specific directives, we say that mesh is moving, and with the help of this particular solver, we allow the mesh to move in the particular way. That is the idea behind that. Okay, so let me look at FV options, FV mesh. Okay, then hey, sorry, but I have to recollect where exactly it is coded. One moment. Mesh, okay, mesh motion, correct. Okay, so inside the src dynamic mesh and mesh motion, inside the mesh motion you have a FV mesh solver available. Okay, so here you have a FV motion solver. Inside that you have FV motion solvers, so where you have a velocity based, displacement based solvers available, like Laplacian. So that is what I mentioned here, different class of the solvers. So velocity Laplacian, then displacement SRB, stress displacement Laplacian, velocity component Laplacians. Okay, few of the options available, okay, that allow you to take into account the mesh motion by solving the cell based equations. Okay, so that is what exactly they are doing when we talk about the different class of the solvers. Okay, so that solvers facilitate the cell motions. Along with that, we require the some particular class of the settings for, let's say, motion diffusivity. So inside this we have a different type of diffusivity models available. Okay, so what we it going to do with this diffusivity model? Okay, so diffusivity model tell us how exactly we are solving the cell motions with the help of certain class of the equations. Okay, so we're not going go towards its exactly how it is coded. Okay, but idea is that this all different class of motion diffusivity models is available. Okay, let's say uniform, if we see. Okay, so then look at so when we want to activate this uniform diffusivity model, we have to say uniform only. So where we supposed to specify here diffusivity equal to uniform and no additional input required. Okay, that is what we are saying from this. And then if let's say we want to go towards what we are going to use directional. Okay, So let's say we have a directional. So when we talk about the directional part, so direction, finite volume mesh motion diffusivity, okay, that is its idea. And what we require the uh, directional diffusivity, okay, and along with that we required few entries, okay. So what entry we require is this numbers, directionality, in what directions we want to take into account this particular values. So these two or three values, okay, ultimately going to control two things: non-orthogonality and the skewness of all the cells, okay. So first number determine the mean cell non-orthogonality, okay, and the another cell, second number determine the mean cell skewness, okay, either how the skewness and the non-orthogonality take into account, okay. So that is what we're going to observe with the help of different parameters. Similar line, we have motion directional. So here also we able to define the two parameter and try to control the few things. Then we have inverse distance. So we have to say the patch name, that is our important patch, okay, and with respect to what is its distance, and based on that it try to solve and try to mimic the mesh motion, okay. Then we have a quadratic inverse distance, okay, exponential inverse distance. So many diffusivity models available, okay. So look, when we are working with different class of mesh motion, so we have to tune this diffusivity models, okay. So let's explore with the help of very simple test case how different class of diffusive model allow us to set this all the parameters. So that is the idea, okay. So let's very quickly we try to explore all the options that is available as far as the diffusivity model is concerned, okay. So for that we have a very simple test case, okay. So let's go there. So this is our test case. So first let's look at the readme file. So let me close everything, okay, and let's open first readme file. And another important file from where we are going to control different parameters is the dynamic mesh files, okay. So let's try to construct first mesh file so we understand what exactly and how it's look like. So let's say block mesh, okay. So block mesh, then let's say paraform, check how exactly mesh is look like, okay. So this is the very simple idea, okay. Simple mesh. What we going to do, we try to move this cylinder in with a particular velocity in the x direction. So how we going to set that particular motions? For here we require dynamic motion solver, and the solver options, a Laplacian or displacement, you can try with all different options, and we try to explore the different these models, okay. But how exactly this motion is triggered, for that we require the cell motion and point motions files. So what we going to do, at the in everything is closed, okay. Outlet we specify as a outlet, okay. So we say it is a inlet and outlet, both is atmospheric conditions, and cylinder is the no slip condition we specified with the help of this, okay. Top wall and the bottom wall, that means this wall and this wall is symmetry 1 and 2, we say slip condition. Front and back we say empty, okay. So that is what we want here, okay. So front and back is supposed to be empty, so let's modify it inside the u file as well. It is supposed to be empty conditions, okay. And then this u motion, so u motion, please understand, outlet wall is a fixed wall, inlet wall is a fixed wall, okay. Cylinder is moving with so and so velocity, okay. So cylinder is moving with a 1 meter per second velocity, that is the idea. Same way cell motion also, this is a fixed wall where you don't have to say that cells are moving with respect to that. So at that location you say it is a fixed value equal to 0, okay. And the cylinder is moving with 1 meter per second velocity in the x direction. So that is what we created here. And this is slip, so that allow the cells also to slip over this particular boundary, okay. So that is what we specified here. So whatever the boundary you want to allow the cell to move, we can say slip over that, okay. So that is what exactly is, I will come back to you that point later when we start the calculations. So let's start with very simple diffusivity. Let's say uniform diffusivity you want to set. Okay, along with that, what few more changes we require. So let's look at okay, so here we have to solve for cell motions u. Okay, so we are looking at the cell motion. Okay, so for that we also have to set a solvers. Okay, that is few things required. No change, but I want to set this to run for only, let's say, 3 second, or let's say 4 second. Okay, otherwise it's going to take time because we want to look at so many combinations here. So let's say this is the case number 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will first switch off everything. Okay, and then let's construct the multiple test case out of it. Okay, so this is not required. Okay, so this is, let's say, case number 1, case 1. Okay, and this is what we have. And then we have a case number 2, so case number 3. Okay, case number 4. We try to explore certain parameters and try to compare. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so let's start with the case number 1. Okay, so we are set with everything. We have to just start the calculations. So for that we are using the icodynamic form. Okay, so this is the case number 1. Okay, now let's go to the case number 2. Meanwhile it's simulating. Okay, and for case number 2 we're going to change in the this file. So in place of uniform, okay, let's work with this diffusivity directional 0101. Okay, so and we want to explore the changes in the mesh motion. Okay, so this is case number 2. Okay, so OF first, sorry, not OF, we have to run with the FE options. Okay, so it is done. So let's go to the next one, and case 2, I set the environment, so I just have to start the calculations. Okay, so meanwhile it's running, let's look at the case number 1. So para form, what exactly happened, just check. Okay, so this is our grid. Okay, and we are moving the cell in particular direction. So please observe few things. Okay, so over this is a fixed. Okay, along inlet and outlet we say fixed. Top and bottom is a slip condition. So because of the slip condition, look, mesh is try to slip over that. Okay, that is what we have. Okay, so this is how exactly the diffusivity is affecting. Okay, so this is one test case. Okay, so let's look at other test case as well. So let me copy this and kept it to case number 2. Okay, okay, cancel. Wait a minute. From here I want to copy this file. Okay, to open multiple paraview, nothing else. Okay, now let's look at the case number 2. Okay, so for that let's cut it down like horizontally and load the file. So go to the case number 2. Okay, we are running for same cases. Okay, so this is case number 1 and this is case number 2. Okay, so till from both of them, if you see, we hardly see any difference between these two cases. Okay, okay, so if we check, we can not able to identify much difference. But if you want to look at exactly, then do one thing, try to look at the slice. Okay, Z normal. Okay, apply same way here, switch off this, switch on, go for slicing, Z normal. to make sure any changes there or not. Okay, now switch off this, switch on both the slice and look at the wireframe, okay, for both of them. Sorry, for this slice Z normal apply. Okay, so let's switch off the triangulate surface, same way here, triangulate surface. Okay, it's almost one-to-one map. Okay, no difference. So uniformity and this are almost going in the similar direction. That is what we observed from this. Okay, now let's go towards the another test case. Okay, CD case number 3. Okay, now let's run the case number 3. So for that we are going towards, this is case number 1, sorry, 2, and let's talk about the case number 3. Okay, so that give us the idea about how exactly few things is changing. Okay, so we are running now case number 3. Okay, so one thing is it's pretty fast, case number 3. Okay, so let's open the case number 3 here first. Okay, so for that let me copy that one file on the case number 3 as well. Okay, so let's observe what different change we have here. Open, so look at the case number 3, apply. Okay, and let's look at the pattern. Okay, so look in the case number 3. Okay, what change we see? Okay, so without any skewness. Okay, look here we have a large skewness. Okay, but here if you see, we don't see any class of the skewness. Okay, so we retain the orthogonality, okay, and the skewness factor with the help of this parameter. Okay, so then you can change this parameter at a different value and try to observe what changes you can see here. Okay, now let's look at the case number 4 with this parameter and try to observe what change we see in with the help of that. Okay, so case number 4, so this is case number 1, 2, 3, and yeah, let's look at the case number 4 with the help of 10 and 0.1. Okay, so that is what I want to see. So let's go to the case number 4. Before we start case number 4, let's copy case 4 as a case 5. Okay, so continue with our understanding with the different parameter what is happening. Okay, so let's go to the case number 4 and we change it. Look at it's, this one is not fast as compared to the case number 3. Okay, fine. So let's copy this file from here to case number 4. Okay, so and then open the case number 4. Okay, so let's open the case number 4 here. So we have a case number now 4, and then how the check the grid how look like. Look, so when we restrict, so what we did, we change the parameter reverse way, let's say 10 and 0.1. Okay, so this parameter, first one is about the non-orthogonality. Okay, and so we increase the this thing, so this is what we achieved. Okay, so it try to restrict the cell movement, okay, in the x directions. So try to retain the, so it look like it try to fix on the top and bottom lines. Okay, by taking into account the orthogonality and slowly try to distort the mesh. Okay, but with that options we see that it's completely going towards the wrong direction. So as compared to this option is much better options. So these options allow you to take into account the entire non-orthogonality and the skewness very nicely. So what this option is, it is this options where we have 0.1 and the 10. So I suggest when you try to run for different parameter and try to observe. Okay, so look, we have to tune this parameter when we go with the different class of the mesh, different type of the skewness, and let's say we are working non-orthogonal mesh on all this thing. Okay, so we have to tune this parameter with the help of the simple test case, and then we go for the much finer refinement and all this thing one has to do. Now let's me run the last case. Okay, so that is case number 5. Okay, so when I'm running, before that let me copy the case number 5 to 6. So in the case number 5, what change I going to do is something like this way. So this is case number 1, this is case number 2, okay, then this is case number 3. Now we run the case number 4, and then let's say keep this case number 4 as it is, and let's try to look at both the places as a 10-10. Okay, so try to observe. Okay, it try to retain and it try to take into account the orthogonality skewness into account. So what difference we try to see, let's check that options. Okay, so case number 5. Okay, so let's observe. So it is not fast compared to the previous one, definitely. Okay, so it's slow, no doubt about it. Okay, so let's run for 4 seconds, and whatever the mesh motion give us the best result, we run for much higher time step. Okay, so now let's go towards the case number 5. Okay, so case number 5, apply and just check the mesh motion. It is little bit improved, okay, as compared to the previous one, as compared to this. Okay, as compared to this, there is a much improvement. Okay, but best part was this one. Okay, where we have a nice movement, okay, without any distortion in the any of the cell element. Okay, so this is the best options we have. So if that is the best option, let's run for a longer time and see if any skewness is appear in the longer time for that one test case. So that is 1 2 3. So we try to run the case number 3 for a longer time. That is the idea. So case number 3, if we want to run for a longer time, so let's change the control dict file and run it for something like, let's say in place of this, something like 20 seconds. Okay, so case number 3 we want to run for a longer time, case number 3. So let's run it for a long time. Let's say either it's going for any skewness in the mesh motion or anything we able to observe or not. Okay, so if not, then for this class of the mesh, that setting is the perfect setting. So sometime when we talk about this mesh motion, so there is, if we talk about stationary mesh, okay, then we have to rely on U and P and its convergence, and depending on the relaxation factor and time steps, we able to tune the parameter and we able to get the convergence. But when the mesh motion come into picture, we also have to take into account the skewness of the different parameters. Okay, and if the skewness in the parameter is very high, then we not able to let's say we not able to look at the result very nicely, or we not able to achieve the convergence in it. Okay, so that is what one has to take into account. Let's look at the now case number 3. Okay, so we run for almost 20 seconds, okay, until it doesn't diverge. Okay, so that is very good, I say. So let's start with the beginning. Okay, and let's observe how exactly the mesh motion is taking place here. Okay, so fine, so let's look at. So without any distortion or without any skewness, entire cell zone is moving in the x direction, but what we are observing is that slowly in this side the cell is stretching up, and in the other side cell is in the compression state. Okay, but we didn't see any skewness till now. Okay, even though only stretching, so that means the here aspect ratio is increasing very high, and in this zone slowly, look, after so much stretching we see some element is going toward the highly skewed zone. Otherwise we didn't see any skewness in any of the places near the our important domain. Only what happened in this zone, all the cells is clustered. Okay, so that is one thing we are saying, that so many cell is clustered but it didn't lose its orthogonality. Okay, so that is few things one can check with the help of this very simple tutorial. Okay, so I suggest you can run for all these options. That means you try to run with different Laplacians. Right now I work with the Laplacian parameters. Okay, you can go with the velocity Laplacians. Okay, you can check this directional motion, diffusivity, inverse distance. Okay, try to look at exactly how it take into account different things. Okay, and based on this one has to check proper diffusivity models and proper solver for mesh motions. Okay, and then they go for the final run. Okay, so this gives you, it is very simple tutorial, but it gives us the idea what diffusivity model going to do with different ways. Okay, so this is a very nice tutorial to explore the certain options available in terms of the cell motions and the diffusivity in all these things. Okay, so please try to check different options. Okay, and let's explore the all the available options and try to run all the cases with the help of this very simple test case, and have an idea basically about all these parameters. Okay, I suggest also this give us the better result, let's say. Okay, so try to check this 10, 5, 4, 1, 2, up to what level it giving you the better result. Okay, when you, so that give you the certain ideas. Okay, either it going in correct direction or in the wrong directions. Okay, so this is about this particular very simple tutorial.